Hello everybody and welcome to my channel, The Real Super Sam. Today is another comic book review and I hope you enjoy. And welcome to a brand new hashtag Spider-Man Sunday. Amazing Spider-Man issue 800. I have reviewed every issue of this story and now it's on to the finale. Everyone is excited about it. I'm sure everyone has already talked about it, but there is a lot of Easter eggs and references and important stuff in the issue that I must talk about. This is the whole reason I created Goblin Week, to hype up my review of this issue, from Green Goblin in issue 14 to the epic ending in issue 800. I'm sure all of you wanted me to read this. Before I start, back when I reviewed Amazing Fantasy issue 15, I mentioned the Spidey Squad, and for a few months now, guess what? I have been in it. It's a great honor, and I'm very happy to be a part of the community. And now, on to the review. And if you're wondering where I am right there. In the story, Spider-Man goes after Red Goblin, and during this adventure and epic finale, a lot happens in Spider-Man's life and mythos. Eddie Brock, aka Venom, returns thanks to Jameson calling him in. Red Goblin goes after Mary Jane, but Venom comes in and saves her, but Eddie gets injured and gives the black symbiote back to Peter. So Spider-Man dons the black suit again and goes after Osborn. Red Goblin sends his grandson after Aunt May, but Dr. Octopus jumps in and saves her. And so does J. Jonah Jameson in his Spider Slayer. Doc Ock gets seriously injured at the end, and Spider-Man says that Doc has a clean slate with him. But shouldn't he have one already? As a superior Spider-Man, he did a lot of good, and even gave Pete his body back. And Spidey's the one that cost him everything. Maybe it's the black suit also talking when Spider-Man dons the black again. He says he feels himself getting stronger and faster, just like old times. Norman goes after Liz and Molten Man. Norman throws Liz out a window, but Spider-Man saves her. That kind of reminds me of another blondie threw off a building. Normie, the Goblin Child, then attacks Norman. Then the black suit Spider-Man goes after Red Goblin, and Agent Anti-Venom returns and reveals he's already stopped Red Goblin's plan to kill everyone Pete's loved with hidden Carnage symbiote spikes. Red Goblin then tackles and kills Agent Anti-Venom. He kills Flash Thompson. It's a touching scene and brings me back to the high school days, like in issue 8 where they were in a boxing match in the school gym, or issue 138 where Pete and Flash started living together, or that Flash used to date Betty Brant, etc. Back to Red Goblin. He is crazy now and destroying everything. He almost beats Spider-Man, but Spidey says that all the credit, if he dies, from Red Goblin will go to the symbiote, to Cletus Cassidy. So at the end, it's just Spider-Man against Green Goblin. Spider-Man has the support of all his friends, all his family, and all the superheroes to fight with him, and he beats Green Goblin very easily. Then Jameson arrives and takes a shot at Goblin, but Spider-Man jumps in the way to save him. Wow, after all Goblin has done and tried to do, after all these decades, all these issues, that's everything he started, anything from after issue 14, Spider-Man would still do that. And you know what? I believe it. He is the world's best superhero. Well, that was a wild adventure and one of the best Spider-Man and Green Goblin stories ever written. I mean, seriously, even I cannot speak highly enough of this comic. Believe it or not, this is the first time ever that Eddie Brock has interacted with Norman Osborn. Right here, in this issue, in this panel, in the comics. There was tens of references to Spider-Man's history, and I will try and name almost all of them. When the Red Goblin said Norman Osborn victorious, it reminded me of Shattered Dimensions, when the Goblin would say the Goblin victorious. The Spider Slayer robot Jameson uses reminds me of the one from issue 58, and the one from episode 24 and 25 and 53 of the animated series. Dr. Octopus saving Aunt May for a non-selfish goal reminds me a lot of issues 55 and 131 and 157, where Doc Ock seems to really love and like Aunt May. At the end, it reminds me of issue 655. The artwork is that way, and the tone is exactly like the comic. When the Red Goblin gets hit with his glider, it's like an Amazing Spider-Man issue 122, the way he died. Spider-Man even says, classic. Venom and Mary Jane's interactions remind me of Venom's first appearance in the comics. For the brief moment when Spider-Man freaks out and turns into Venom, it reminds me of the animated series episode 8, where he almost kills the Shocker. That was a crazy moment. Spider-Man being back in the black suit, the symbiote black suit, is crazy. After all these years, definitely what really sold me this comic. And I did not expect them to do anything with Cletus Cassidy, but it makes sense, since Cletus and Carnage are now practically the same thing. It was a crazy ride, and Flash Thompson dying makes it a staple in comic book history. I can't imagine what issue 1000 will be like now. The art, all the different arts in this issue is fantastic. After all these decades, and ever since issue 1, Jameson has hated on Spider-Man, but at the very end of this issue, it looks like everything's changed. This is the best comic that is released this year by far, a 10 out of 10. I encourage everyone to read it sooner or later, even go and try to buy it. I said it's one of the best Spider-Man Green Goblin stories, but I don't know if it's going to be on my top 5. Probably not. I love reading these issues, and please comment your thoughts down below. And like and subscribe. Bye guys, and have a good day. This was another hashtag Spider-Man Sunday and the finale of my hashtag Goblin Week.